Hey everybody, I'm Josh Jackson from WPSculptor.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to create a really nice professional looking website with WordPress using a free theme called Origami. I'm also going to show you several different online tools that are available for free that will really enhance the professional appearance of your website. If you like the video, please feel free to participate on YouTube by subscribing to my channel, liking the video, favoriting the video, and sharing the video. Those things really help me out, so I really appreciate that. And let's just jump right into it. Okay, so this is the exact same website I'm going to show you how to create step by step without skipping anything. First thing I'm going to do is show you how to set up a domain name and hosting with a company called HostGator.com. It's a wonderful company, and I highly recommend them. The domain name that I've got here is actually what's called a subdomain, because the domain name that I have that I own is quickwebsitecreation.com. But since I didn't want to have to buy a new domain name every time I make a new video, I'm using nature.quickwebsitecreation.com, but you'll learn how to get your own domain name. A normal domain name like WPSculptor.com, for example. And then I'm going to show you how to install WordPress on your hosting account, and we're going to install the Origami theme that we're using here by a company called Site Origin. It is a free theme. And I'm going to show you how to create this logo here with an amazing online logo creating and graphic creating application called iPicky. And I'm going to show you how I came up with this blue, brown, and light brown color scheme. There's a wonderful resource that's available for people like me that would rather rely on somebody else's expertise to come up with their colors than choose them on their own, but you can do either way on that. And then of course we'll be able to create this textured background. This is another resource that's available online for free where you can choose patterns and make them whatever color you want, which is an amazing tool because it really adds a whole nother degree of professionalism to your site. I'm going to show you how to set up this navigation menu with the drop down here like that. And then on our home page, we're going to have a slideshow. As you can see here, we've got 3 slides. You can have as many as you want or as few as you want. And they will transition automatically or when I click. And you can specify how long you want each slide to appear for before it transitions into the next one. You can have a slide caption. And then I could click on any one of these slides and be taken to whatever page I want. And this is an optional feature with slideshow. You don't have to have it that way. But I can click on this page, for example, to be taken to my blog page right here. This is my blog. And then I'm going to show you how to set up a call to action section like this. And I'm going to show you how to add images, add text, and then make links to your text. This is a link to one of the photo resources we're going to be using. This is a link to their website. I'm going to show you how to do that with any text. I'm going to show you how to get all these images from a free site, and you don't even have to have their permission, or you don't even have to provide an attribution to use their work. It's completely free to use for everyone, commercial or personal projects, it doesn't matter. And that same applies to these icons here. It's from the same resource. So I'm going to show you how to get these icons and add this text with a title and an icon, and then I'm going to show you how to add these buttons, and these buttons lead to these individual pages. And then I'm going to show you how to set up your footer widgets, just like this. These are called widgets, and I'm going to talk about what widgets are and how you can use them. And what's really amazing about this Origami theme and the other themes from siteorigin.com is that they have what's called the Page Builder plugin. And that enabled me to create whatever layout I wanted to. So the personal preference that I chose, the layout that I chose, I've got one row with one column, so my slideshow is full width. Then my call to action is full width, and then this section is full width, and then I decided I wanted to have 3 different sections here. So I have one row that's got 3 different columns, and you're going to be able to create whatever layout you would like to have. And if you're not using the Origami theme, you can still download the Page Builder plugin and use it on the theme that you are using. And another really amazing feature of this WordPress theme that we're going to be using, the Origami theme, is that it is a responsive theme, and that just means that on mobile devices it will resize very nicely, just like this. Your menu will still work just fine. Your slideshow is going to look good. Your call to action is going to look great. Your pictures, your text, everything is going to resize very nicely, which is a very handy tool to have, very handy feature these days. Then I'm going to show you how to set up an about page with an image here, and I'm going to show you how to resize these images. We're going to download them all at the same size, the same high quality size, much larger than this, and I'm going to show you about an free online application to resize these images. Add text, create bullet lists like this, and then we're going to add a contact form. And this is just something we'll download. And that's one of the great things about WordPress, is that you can have as many different the functionality, the sky's the limit with your functionality, because there are so many different plugins available, and many are free to use, and all the ones we're going to be using are free. So users could fill out this contact form, click on send, and then a copy of this form will be sent to the email address that you provide, so you don't have to give your email out if you don't want to. And then we'll set up our image gallery page with another plugin that's free. And this is really cool. It creates these thumbnails for you, and then you can click and this nice light box appears, and you can transition and see the different images just like that, and click on the X to exit out of that. Then we're going to learn how to embed YouTube videos. This is just a very simple way to add some HTML code to your website. And then of course we're going to be setting up a blog so that you can have a featured image, and then your blog title, and then an excerpt from your blog posts. And we've just got 2 blog posts here. This is another one here with the featured image and the blog title. And then you're also going to learn all about comments. And when I click on blog post 2 to be taken to the actual blog post page, you'll have the ability to provide a place for your users to leave comments. And this is optional. You don't have to have this, but I'm going to show you how to specify whichever way you want to do that. You're going to learn all about comment settings. And then you're going to learn about blog categories, which this is a blog categories widget here, so that your blog posts will be organized. And all of that you're going to learn step by step without skipping anything, so that everybody, including absolute beginners, can be able to easily follow along. The first thing we're going to do is set up our hosting account and our domain name at hostgator.com. So go ahead and go to hostgator.com. Now I highly recommend HostGator. Their customer service is outstanding. Their pricing is excellent. They're just a great company to be with. Go ahead and click on web hosting at the top left. Now you have 3 different options here. The hatchling plan and the baby plan are very similar, except that the hatchling plan, you can only have 1 domain hosted on that account. And so of course that's going to be a little bit cheaper. Now the baby plan is a little bit more expensive, but you can host as many different domains as you'd like on that one hosting account. And then the business plan has this free private security feature and this free toll-free number. Most people probably don't need that, so I generally recommend the baby plan. So we're going to go ahead and click on order now. Alright, and the first thing we need to do is register for a new domain name if you don't already have a domain name. Now if you already have a domain name with another company like GoDaddy.com, for example, you could check this box here, and then HostGator will send you special instructions for setting up your domain name and linking it to your hosting account. But we're going to pretend like we don't have a domain name, so we're going to need to get one. Now it's only $12.95 for a domain name through HostGator, and that's going to cover you for a whole year, so that's a pretty minimal startup cost. And what you would do is you need to enter the domain that you'd like here in this box, and then you have the option to do .com, .net, .org, .info, and .biz. And we're going to do .com. Now I already have a domain name that I'm going to use for this video tutorial, and that is quickwebsitecreation.com. And I'm actually going to use a subdomain. I'm going to call it nature.quickwebsitecreation.com, just so that I don't have to buy a new domain name every time I make a new video. But in your case, you're going to want to get a domain name. So one that is available is the naturalphenomena.com. And what's going to happen is if the domain name is available, it's going to give you this congratulations message, and you could just proceed, and then you could decide if you wanted to purchase the .net, .org, or those other extensions, but normally all you need is the one. And then you could just continue. But if you got the message that said that the domain was not available, you would just need to try something different, maybe try .net or .org, or just get creative with it. It may take a few tries, and obviously it can't be something that's already taken like hostgator.com or my website wpsculptor.com. Those two are not available, so just keep trying. And then once you get something you like, scroll on down, and for the package type, just make sure that you're purchasing the package that you want. Again, I recommend the baby plan. And then the billing cycle, if you purchased 36 months all at once, you would actually get a better deal, but you would have to buy those 36 months up front. I like to just do month to month. It's a little bit easier to get started that way. It's obviously it's a much smaller cost, so we'll just do that for now. And then you're going to want to put in a username and a security pin. Just make sure that you read the specification requirements there and are meeting those. And then scroll down and put in your billing information. Now, it's really important to provide a valid email, of course. HostGator is going to send you some really important information, and you're going to want to definitely have that so that you can access your account. And then for your payment information, you can pay with a credit card, or you can also pay with PayPal. So just select which option you want and put in your information there. And then scroll down under hosting add-ons. By default, the top 3 add-ons are checked. I'm just going to go ahead and uncheck those. You can always add these features later. We want to get started as cheaply as possible, so we're just going to leave it that way for now. Now scroll down to the coupon code section. Now this coupon code Snappy is the default coupon code, and that gives you 20% off your hosting order. I've actually got a couple of different coupon codes that will give you more of a discount than that, and not only will they give you more of a discount, they're also going to, if you use them, they're going to help support me and help support my YouTube channel and help me keep these videos going, so I really appreciate that in advance. Now the first one, and the most popular code that I have, is the one that gets you your first month of web hosting for just 1 cent. And that is WP Sculptor 1 cent, just like that. And then if we've validated that code, you'll see that right here the baby plan for 1 month is only 1 cent. Okay, and then our hosting order, or our domain order for the domain registration is $12.95, and that's for a whole year. So our total would only be $12.96, and that's going to cover the first month. Now after your first month is up, then you'll just be billed the $9.95 a month for your hosting account. Now for people that are going to purchase multiple months at a time, for example 6 months or 12 months or even 3 years at a time, I would recommend using the WP Sculptor 25 coupon code, and you'll get 25% off your hosting order, and you'll actually save more money than you would with the WP Sculptor 1 cent code. But most people like to do it this way, so we'll just continue and scroll on down, and you're going to check that you've read and agreed to the terms and conditions of use, and then click on Create Account. Alright, after you create your account, give HostGator a few minutes to set that up, and then you're just going to go and check your email. Alright, after a few minutes, go ahead and check your email, and you should have an email that looks like something like this, sales@hostgator.com. Go ahead and click on that, open it up, and this has your information to access your cPanel, which is very important. That's how we're going to actually install WordPress onto our hosting account. You'll have a link to your billing, a link to your control panel, you'll have a username that you gave, you'll have the password is actually something that's generated automatically by HostGator, and that's very important. Obviously I've changed my password, but you're going to need this password to access your cPanel. So go ahead and click on this link that's next to your control panel, and you're going to log in with the username and the password that they gave you. Again, I've changed mine, but your password is going to be right here, so you would just copy and paste that into the password spot here, and then click on Login. Alright, and this is what your cPanel looks like. And what we're going to do here is scroll on down towards the bottom underneath Software/Services and click on Quick Install. Okay, and you won't have this long list here on the right, all these things. The reason I have this on my account is because I've got all kinds of different subdomains and domains linked to my account with different WordPress installations on them, so yours should be empty here. And you're just going to go ahead and click on WordPress on the left here, and you're going to click on Continue. And then here you'll just leave this at the default setting. It should be your domain.com or .net or whatever the extension is. You'll just leave that as is, but in my case, since I want this to be installed on this subdomain that I've created, which is nature.quickwebsitecreation.com, I'm going to select that, but again you would just use the default. Leave this box blank, and then go ahead and type in an email address and give your website a title. This is not that important, you can always change this later. I'm going to call it The Natural Phenomena, and then give yourself a username and your first and your last name, and then you're going to click on Install Now. Okay, and after that's done installing, you're going to need to give your website a couple of hours, is usually how long it takes to do what's called propagating and get itself set up. In the meantime, you actually won't be able to access your website, but just give it a couple of hours and check back and your website should be available. And you will need this username that you just specified and this password that was automatically generated. This is different from the one HostGator gave you. This is actually your WordPress password. So you will need to copy that and save that because we'll log into the back end of our WordPress website with that password. So let's give it a couple of hours and then we'll check back. Alright, after a couple of hours you're going to check back and open in a new tab and type in your domain name. I'm going to type in nature.quickwebsitecreation.com because that is my domain name. And once you get something like this, that means your website is now available. And this is what the basic brand new WordPress installation looks like. Okay, obviously we're going to change this up entirely. So let's go back to that other tab and we're going to copy this password that it gave us. And then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to type in my domain name and then /wp-admin. And this is going to take us to our login screen so that we can log in and access the back end of our website. So log in using the username that it gave you, or that you selected for yourself, and then paste in that password. And of course we will change that password so that you can actually remember it. Click on login. Alright, and this is what the back end of your WordPress installation looks like. And just to point out a couple of things here, this little link up here on the top left, first of all, this gray bar is called the admin bar. This link in the top left that has the name of your website, when you click on it, if you're in the back end, it'll take you to the front end of your site. And then if you click on it when you're in the front end, it'll take you back to the back end. And then also, if you wanted to log out, you would hover over here on the far right and then just click on this log out button, and that would take you out of the back end and this gray admin bar would disappear. Okay, the first thing we're going to do now that we're in our back end is deactivate what's called a cache plugin. And it's a great plugin, but we want to deactivate it because some of you might have trouble seeing the changes that you make to your website right away. Now, this is a good plugin, and I say that because it really can speed up your website for your users, but while you're doing all your development on it, I recommend disabling it, and we're actually just going to delete it because we can always install that back later. So we're going to go to plugins and click on installed plugins. Alright, and then under WP Super Cache, click on deactivate. And then now you'll get this delete option underneath WP Super Cache. Click on delete. And click on yes, delete these files and data. And again, we can always reinstall this plugin. And the next thing we're going to do is change our password to something that we can actually remember. So let's go hover over users here on the left and click on all users. And then hover over your name or your username and click on edit. And then you're going to scroll down, and right here where it says new password, you're just going to type in the password that you would like to use. And then repeat the new password in the box below it. And it'll tell you if they match or not. And then click on update profile. Alright, now our password's changed, so next time you log in through the back end of your website, you'll use the new password that you've created with that same username. And now let's change right here when we view our front end. I'll just click on that. I want you to notice that we have the site title, and mine it is the natural phenomena, and then we have this tagline. This is called a tagline. It says just another WordPress site, and that's what all your fresh WordPress installations are going to put. We're just going to go ahead and take care of that. Go back to your back end here and go to settings, and then you're going to go to general. And right here next to tagline, you can just name this whatever you want, just something that describes your website. We're going to call this, I'm just going to say admiring natural beauty. And then I'm going to scroll down and click on save changes. Alright, now that we've taken care of some of our housekeeping things, let's talk about one of the amazing things about WordPress, and that is that there are thousands of free themes available that you can use to change the look and feel of your website. Now, there's also a lot of paid themes, but out of the many different free themes, there are some amazing themes, and the one we're going to use is called Origami. And to install this Origami theme, we're going to go to Appearance, hover over Appearance on the left, and then click on Themes. Okay, and we want to click on Install Themes because that's what we want to do. And then you're going to search for Origami. So type in Origami and click on Search. And it's going to be this first one here that pulls up. So you're just going to click on Install Now. And we're going to click on Activate. And one of the awesome things about Origami is that it just has all these different customization options so that we can just add an awesome background, custom background to it. We'll be able to add our logo, stuff like that. It's really great. So once you've activated the theme, I just want to point out by going to Appearance and then click on Theme, or actually click on Premium Upgrade. And we are going to be using the free version of Origami, but I just want to point out that you can purchase the premium version and you can get access to email support. You can get this really nice responsive menu, so you'll get a different menu that shows up on mobile devices that looks really nice and neat. You can read about some of the different things. You can remove the attribution link so that powered by WordPress, and then it has the name of the theme company that designed Origami. You can remove that. You can add social sharing to your blog posts, different stuff like that, continuous updates to the theme. All of that can be purchased here. And you can actually, they recommend paying $15 for the premium version. They think it's a fair price, which I certainly agree with that. But you can even pay more than that, or you can even name your own price and just pay whatever you think it's worth. So I just want to point that out there. And that's a great way to support this theme company because they did do an outstanding job with this theme. All right, let's go up and click on this button here to view the front end of our site. As you can see, right away we've got a completely different look to our site with the Origami theme installed. I'm going to show you how to change all of this up completely. We're going to, first thing we'll do is take this off. This is a search widget that is in our header, and I'm going to go over widgets and discuss what those are. These are actually widgets by default. WordPress puts in these widgets in a new WordPress installation, so we're going to add our own throughout this tutorial. So let's go back and adjust some of the theme settings before we really get going here. So click here to go back to the back end of your site. And then you're going to go hover over Appearance and click on Theme Settings. And we don't need to change anything here. Under Display, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck Use Origami Gallery. And this is because we're going to have several different plugins that give us this slider. And we also want to be able to have photo galleries. So we want to uncheck that because we're going to do that on our own. And then to get rid of that header search icon, uncheck that there and click on Save Settings. And I just want to point out we can remove the footer attribution link, and that's with the premium version I went over earlier. You can have these comment options, the responsive menu options. Now the menu will work on mobile devices without the premium version. The premium version just makes it look really nice and fancy. So let's go back, and I just want to show you that header search icon is no longer there. So just because we unchecked it. Let's go ahead and go back to the back end, and the first thing we're going to do to get started is create our very first page, which is going to be our About page. So to create a page with WordPress, you're going to hover over Pages and click on Add New. And then you're going to want to give this page a title. We'll just call it About. And here I want to point out we've got what's called the Visual Editor. And this functions a lot like a word processor. You can click on this icon here when you hover over it. It says Show Hide Kitchen Sink. And that's going to display all these different formatting options. So you could type out text, highlight text, change the font color there, center it, make it go to the left, to the right, stuff like that. Now, what's really cool about WordPress is that if you use the visual editor, which we will primarily be using that, it will actually write the HTML code for you. Okay, so if you clicked on this text tab, this is the text editor. This is where you would paste in HTML code, or actually even write your own HTML code if you know HTML. but I'll show you later how the visual editor writes this code for us. And now the page builder, this is something that most WordPress themes won't have. In fact, only the themes that siteorigin.com, which is the theme company that did Origami, only those themes will have this page builder plugin installed by default, but you can always install that as a plugin separately if you're not using Origami or another site origin theme. And this plugin is basically a really wonderful way to create custom layouts, and we're going to go over that when we create our homepage later on. But let's go back to the visual editor, and the first thing I want to do is add an image to our about page. And to do that, we would go click on this add media and go through the process, but first we need to actually go ahead and get all of our images. So in a new tab, I'm going to open up and go to a wonderful website called pixabay.com. And what's awesome about this website is that there are so many extremely professional websites professional images, as you can see right from the beginning here, and all of the images and icons available on Pixabay are completely free to use, and you don't even have to leave an attribution to the person that created the image, which is amazing because you can use these images on personal projects, commercial projects, and they are absolutely free and you don't have to get permission. So to find all the images on this mock website that I'm walking you through how to create, I just went to Explore and I clicked on this Editor's Choice tab, and I just went through and I just picked out a handful or maybe a couple of handfuls of different images. And just to show you what I did on page 3, I think there's an image that I selected. Let's go to page 3 there. This image right here, I wanted to use this one. So I clicked on it, and then right here, if you click on the image there, you can download it and you have all these different size options. Now I always download the 1280 by whatever number it is there, because that means that it's 1200, at least 1200 pixels wide, in this case 1280 pixels wide, and that's a really large image, and very rarely will you need to have an image any larger than that. Now you can always resize your images and make them smaller without losing quality, but if you try to make your images too much bigger than the original file, you will start to lose quality and it can get pixelated or blurry, and that's just not good. So I always recommend playing it safe and getting the large image. This 1280 is plenty large. So what I did was I clicked on this download, and then if you don't have an account with Pixabay, which is free, and I do have an account, but if you don't have an account, you might have to type in a CAPTCHA with the random letters and numbers just so they know you're not a robot trying to download their images. And then I would just save the file to my hard drive, and I'm going to go and get all the images that I'm going to use, and I'm going to organize them into different folders, and then I'll be right back. Alright, now I've got all my images downloaded, and just so you know, I put them in different folders just so it'll be easier for me to know which images I need to use to show you different things. And I've named all the folders ending in HQ, which stands for high quality. So all of the images in these folders are the original 1280 pixel wide image, so that they're very large, and I can make them smaller if I need to. Alright, so let's go back to our About page editing screen. And actually, before we add this first image, I want to resize that. And to resize images and make them smaller, we're going to use a program, a free online application. We're going to open it up in a new tab, and it is called Pixlr.com. That's Pixlr.com. So go ahead and go there, and then click on the Pixlr editor. And we are going to open the image from our computer, so I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to find the image that I need that I've downloaded from Pixabay. It is going to be Page Images HQ, and I'm going to use this lightning image here. And as you can see here, the dimension, it is 1280 by 817 pixels. So I'm going to open that. And this is the actual image. Now I want to point out that we are viewing this image currently at 96%, because that's what it says here in the bottom left. And if we change that to 100, it'll actually be a little bit too big for my screen. But if I drag, you can see this is the actual size of the original image. Okay, we don't want it to be anywhere near that big on our About page, so I'm going to resize it, And to do that, all you do is go to Image and click on Image Size, and make sure you leave this Constrain Proportions box checked. So all we have to do, and I'm going to make this 300 pixels wide, and it's because that box is checked, it's going to automatically change the height for me and keep this image proportionate. And then I'm going to click on OK. And now you can see here, I'm viewing this at 100%. This is the final size of that image. So I'm going to save this as a different file. I'm going to go to File and Save. And I'm going to name this About Page Image. JPEG is good, and quality level of 80 is good for the web. That's perfect. So I'm going to click on OK. And then now I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this Page Images, just without the HQ. And then I'm going to save this as About Page Image in my new folder. Click on Save, and then we're going to go back to the page editor. For the About page, click on Add Media. And then we're going to upload the file. And we're going to click on Select Files. And we're going to find this file on our hard drive. And it's going to be in that new folder there. And if I click that once, you'll see that this image is the 300 pixel by 191 pixel image. I'm going to click on Open. And that's going to upload it there. And we want this to be the full size, so we're going to keep that at full size. Link to, and it currently by default has media file. This would basically, if you clicked on the image on our website, it would open up a new window or a new tab. It would open up the image. We don't want this to link to anywhere. We don't even want it to be clickable, so we're going to say none. Now we could say custom URL, and then we could copy and paste a URL, http://google.com, for example, or any page on our site or anywhere on the web. But we're going to leave this to none. And we're going to change alignment to left because I want this image to be on the left side of the screen, and I want my text to be to the right of the image. So my text will wrap around the image to the right of it. So we'll keep that there. Now you want to give a good title, a good caption, a good alt text, and a good description that kind of describes your image. And this is going to be for search engine optimization. Google and Yahoo and Bing, they can't look at your images and know what they're about. They have to have some sort of text that describes the image. So that's a good practice. For the purposes of time, I'm not going to worry about that throughout this video, but just so you know that. And then we're going to click on Insert into Page. Alright, and that's going to put the image there, and as you can see, my text, it's letting me type in some text here, and that's going to be to the right of the image. Now I've already got this typed out, and I don't want you to have to watch me do this, so I'm going to just paste this in here. Then I'm going to click on Enter, and I want to make a bullet list. So these are going to be my different bullet list items. I'm going to copy those one at a time and then paste them in and then highlight them. And actually, I can highlight them and make them bullet lists all at the same time. So I'm just going to hit Enter, copy this one, paste it in there. Enter again, and then copy this one, paste, copy that, paste that, and one more, and paste that in. And now I can select all of these by clicking, holding, and dragging up to the top there, and then I can click this bullet icon, and it's going to make a bullet list out of those. Alright, and just one more thing I want to point out. If you wanted to highlight certain text, for example, if I wanted to highlight origami and make that word a link to another web page on my site or anywhere else on the web, I could highlight the text and then click on this link icon, and then I could give it a URL, http://www.google.com like I used earlier, or we could just make it a shortcut and link to other pages on our site. But since we don't have anything else created and since we don't want to link to anywhere anyway, I'll just say cancel. But if you did link somewhere and you wanted to remove that link, you could click on this broken link icon. But we're just going to publish the page. And let's go over here and click on this box that says View Page, and that's going to take us to the front end of our site and to this particular page. And this is what it looks like. We've got our title of the page here centered at the top. We've got our image on the left, and then we've got our text on the right with our bullet list here. Now, a couple of things I want to point out. First of all, this About page is automatically added to the menu. Now, not all themes will do that, so I'm going to show you how to set up a custom menu and do it the proper way later on, and after we create the rest of our pages. And then also, this comment box doesn't have to be there, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. And let me point out a shortcut to get back to the page editing screen for whatever page you're viewing in the front end. Just go up to the admin bar and click on this Edit Page tab there, and that'll take you back to your back end to the page editor for the About page. And first thing I want to show you is that the text editor, if we click on that, now we have all this HTML code, and that's because the text editor wrote out the HTML code that was designed in our visual editor. And the other thing, WordPress by default allows users to post comments, and you can disable that setting in the general settings so that all the new blog posts and the new pages that you create will have that feature disabled by default, which I'll show you how to do. But you can also disable that individually on individual post pages or regular pages like this. To do that, click on Screen Options here, and we'll just check Discussion, and then we'll click Screen Options again to minimize that, and you'll see this discussion box has now appeared, and Allow Comments is checked. I could simply uncheck that box and then update the page, and then go back and view the page, and you'll see that we no longer have the comment section there. And let's go back to the back end, and to disable that on all our new posts and pages by default, go to Settings and then click on Discussion. And we'll discuss advanced discussion comment features later on when we talk about blog posts and blog settings. But for now, let's just uncheck Allow people to post comments on new articles. Uncheck that, scroll down, and click on Save Changes. Now, every time we create a new blog post or a new page, the comments will be disabled by default. And you could, of course, override that by going back to the individual page editor and then checking or unchecking Allow Comments. Okay, let's go ahead and create our other pages. So to do that, we'll go to Pages, Add New, and let's create what's going to be our home page. And this is going to be, we're going to call it Welcome to Natural Phenomena. And we're just going to publish. Of course, we'll set all our content up later for all of these pages. And then let's go, you can also create a new page by going to Add New here. So let's do that. And we'll create our contact page. And we'll just call this Contact Us. And then publish. We'll be using a plugin for this page later on. And then we'll add new. And we're going to create the page that's going to eventually become our blog page, and we'll just call it Blog. Publish. Then we'll add our image gallery page. Call it Image Gallery. Publish that. And then our video page. Add new. Call it Video. And then publish that. Alright, and before we set up our menu, I just want you to see this. Go to Pages, hover over Pages, or if it's already selected, click on All Pages, and this will pull up a list of all your pages. And you can click on each of these to get taken to the page editor for that particular page. But to delete a page, and we're going to delete what's called the sample page. And WordPress by default comes with a sample page and a sample blog post. So to delete the sample page, hover over it. You can click on Trash, and this removes it from the list. It's actually still out there in this trash folder. We could restore it from there, but we'll just leave it the way it is for now. Alright, now before we create our navigation menu, let's go ahead and view the front end of our site by clicking here. And I want to point out again, like I mentioned earlier, that by default most WordPress themes will automatically add the pages that you create to your primary navigation menu, which in most cases is going to be this top navigation here. And of course, since we deleted the sample page, that's no longer showing up, but all of the other pages that we've created are. Now, the best way to do this and set this menu up is to do it the traditional way. Even though it does add pages automatically, you want to have a lot more control and control what pages are going to show up on your menu, where they're going to show up, what they're going to be called. So we're going to create our menu by going back to our backend. And we're going to go to Appearance and then go down and click on Menus. Alright, so right now the menu 1, this is the menu that's created by default for us by the Origami theme. Like I said, it adds all the pages to it. We're going to create a new menu. So go up here and click on Create a New Menu. And we're going to call this Top Navigation. And then go over and click on Create Menu. Okay, and now we need to add pages to our menu. So I'm going to go ahead and select all the pages because we eventually are going to want all of those pages on our menu. So just check all of those and then click on Add to Menu. Alright, and now we need to specify and tell the Origami theme that we want this menu to be our primary menu. That means we want it to be our primary top menu. So go ahead and click on that box and then click on Save Menu. Okay, now all of these pages are added to our site. Now let's go ahead and view our site. And you'll see they're all still there. Now let's go back, and to rearrange our menu items, all you have to do is click, hold, and drag, just like this. I clicked on the video tab, and then I can rearrange it by doing this. And I'm just going to rearrange these. I want my welcome page to be at the top. That's going to be my home page. I'm going to rename that here in a minute. And then I'm going to do my about page after that. We'll do our contact page after about. And then we'll do our blog. And then we'll do our image gallery and video page. And we will be creating a drop-down menu for our image gallery and video page in just a minute. But let's go ahead and save that. And now if we go back and look at the site again, you'll see that the menu items are rearranged. So let's go back, and to change the title of your menu, this is it, by default it takes on the title of the page, but to change the title, for example, I want Welcome to Natural Phenomena to be called Home in the menu. So I'm going to click on this little arrow, and right here I'm just going to double click that to select all of the text, and I'm just going to rename that Home, and then I can just minimize that. And when I save the menu, you can see there it changed to Home. So if we view our site again, it is now called Home. Okay, so that's really a really simple way to do that. Now let's go back, and to create a drop-down menu, I want image gallery and video to be underneath a tab called Media. And since we don't have a page called Media, we could use a page. If we had a page called Media, we could use that page, but since we don't have a page, a really cool way to do that, we're going to click on this arrow next to links, and first we're going to put in the link text, and this is just going to be called media, and this is just whatever text you want it to show up as on your menu. And then for the URL, since we don't have a page for this media tab, or since we don't even want it to be clickable, we don't want people to be able to click on it and go to a page on another page on our site or another page anywhere on the internet, we're just going to put in the pound symbol, which is Shift and the number 3 on your keyboard. And go ahead and click on Add to Menu. And what that does is it's just telling it that there is no URL for it, and by using the pound symbol. So now I want this media tab to be after my blog tab. So I'm going to move it up there. And be careful, by the way, that you're not making it go over like that, unless you want it to be a drop down. And the way we do the drop down is doing just that. So for our image gallery, we want it to be a drop down underneath media. So I'm going to click, hold, and just drag that over just like that. And I'm going to do the exact same thing to video. So now both of these will be children elements, or child elements, of the Media tab. So when I save the menu and view our website, now you'll see, of course, we have our home and all of our other pages. And when you hover over Media, you now have the image gallery page and the video page as drop-down menu items there. So let's go back, and if you wanted to remove any of these from your menu, all you would have to do is click on the arrow next to the menu item you want to remove and just click on this Remove tab. And also, you could have as many different menus created as you'd like to, but just be sure and specify on the one that you want to be your primary menu, make sure that you have this checked for that particular menu. So let's just go ahead and save. It's always good to save just in case. And let's view our site again. All right, and you'll notice also that the home page, which this is different from the home page we've created here. When we click on home here, this takes us to the page that we want to be our home page. By default, if you go back and clicking on the logo or the title of your site here in the top left corner will take you back to what's set as the home page. By default, WordPress uses the blog page as the home page, and this is the sample blog post that we'll delete later on in the video. But I just want to show you real quick how to set up this home page that we've created that we want to be our home page as the actual home page. So let's go back to the back end, and you're going to go to Settings, and then you're going to go to Reading. Click on Reading. And right here, like I said, the default WordPress settings, the front page is going to display your latest post, and that's the blog post, which happens to be our sample post currently. Now we want this to be a static page. We've got a home page that we want it to specifically show. So we're going to check this little area, and then we need to specify the front page that we want, which is going to be the page that we've created called Welcome to Natural Phenomena. And that's the one that we've called home in our menu. And then the post page is going to be the page that we've created that we want to eventually show our latest blog posts. And we have that as blog. And it can be whatever you want it to be. It's just pretty traditional to call the blog a blog. So that's what I've done there. And now if we save the change. And now when we view the front end of our site, the home page, the main page, is now this Welcome to Natural Phenomena page. Now, of course, we haven't created any content yet, but we will do that later in the video. All right, now we're going to add our contact form to our contact page, but let's take a look at our Contact Us page by clicking on that in the menu. Obviously, it's blank, but we're actually going to install a plugin that will put a contact form on this page for us. And of course, we'll have to specify what page we want that to be on. But to do that, go back to your back end, and then you're going to go to Plugins and click on Add New. And we're going to search for a plugin called Contact Form 7. And then click on Search Plugins. And it should be the top one here. So you're going to click on Install Now and click on OK. And then you're going to click on Activate Plugin. Alright, and now we have this new Contact tab appearing here on the left. So go ahead and click on this Contact tab. And by default, the Contact Form plugin automatically creates a contact form. So click on Contact Form 1. And you'll see that you'll have a place for the person's name, a place for the person's email, for the subject of their message, and for their actual message. And by default, this is going to send a copy of that contact form to the email address that you provided when you set up your WordPress site. But you can change that right here. You can change that to whatever email you want a copy of these contact forms that are submitted sent to. And then you would want to click on this Save button. But we're just going to leave that the way it is. Now this right here, this is called a shortcode. And a lot of WordPress plugins use shortcodes, and basically what that does is if you copy the shortcode, and then you can now paste it anywhere on a blog post or a page that you've created, and we're going to paste this shortcode on our Contact Us page so that the contact form here will appear on that page. So now that we've copied that code, go back to Pages, All Pages, and click on Contact Us to open up the contact page editor. And when you use shortcodes, it's my personal preference to switch to the text editor. Even though these shortcodes are not actually HTML, I just find that using the text editor is the best practice. So paste it in there, and then click on Update to update the contact page. And now if we view our contact page, you'll see that we now have the contact form, and users could fill this out and submit it here by clicking on the send button, and that will send a copy of this form to that email address. And just so you see, if we go back to our home page and then we click on our Contact Us page in the menu, that is definitely showing up on the correct page. Alright, now that we've got our contact form put in place, we're going to add our image gallery to our image gallery page. So if we click on our image gallery page, it's currently blank. So let's go back to our back end of our WordPress site, and we're going to go to plugins. We're going to add new, so click on add new, and this time we're going to search for a plugin called Next Gen Gallery, and Next Gen is one word. Type that in and click on search plugins. And one thing I forgot to mention about the contact form plugin, you can see the reviews here on the right for all the plugins. 4 stars is generally an excellent rating, and especially when you click on details next to any given plugin on this page, you can see how many times this plugin is downloaded, and this has been downloaded nearly 8.5 million times, which is excellent for it to get 4 stars and be downloaded that much. And the contact form plugin had similar ratings. So let's go ahead and click on Install Now and click on OK. And then you're going to click on Activate Plugin. Okay, and now we have this gallery tab appearing here on the left. So to add an image gallery, hover over the gallery tab and click on Add Gallery/Images. And here it says create a new gallery. That's what we want. And then next to that, we need to give our gallery a name. So let's call this Image Gallery 1. And then we need to add the files, the image files that we want to this gallery. So I'm going to click on Add Files. And I got all of these files, of course, off Pixabay, and these are all the original high-quality 1280 pixel wide images. I'm not going to resize any of these in Pixlr because the Next Gen Gallery is actually going to resize these images for us and create thumbnails for us, which is a really handy feature that plugin provides. So I'm going to open up the Gallery Images High Quality, and I'm going to select all of them by clicking on this top one once, holding Shift on my keyboard and clicking on this bottom one. And then I'm going to click on Open. Okay, and then now we need to click on Start Upload. Alright, and now we could go over here and click on this Manage Galleries tab. And it's going to show the gallery that we just created, the Image Gallery 1, or whatever you called it. So click on that. And right here, you can put in the title, you can change the title of the images and give a description text for search engine optimization purposes. We're not going to worry about that for the sake of time. And then also you could rearrange the order that these images show up in your gallery by clicking on Sort Gallery here. And then you could click, hold, and drag and drop these into the place that you want, just like that. We're not going to worry about that, but if you did want to do that, be sure and click on this Update Sort Order so that it would save that. Now to add this gallery to our page that we've created called Image Galleries, or Image Gallery, we're going to go to Pages, All Pages, and then open the Image Gallery page. Okay, and now we're going to go back to the visual editor, and you'll notice that we have a new icon here. When you hover over it on the far right, it says Next Gen Gallery. So to put a Next Gen Gallery in our page, you're going to click on that little icon. And the first thing you do is specify how you want this gallery to display. You can play around with these different options. I'm just going to use the default thumbnails setting. And then click here, what would you like to display? Click on that. And we want it to be a gallery. Now, next to galleries where there's a blank text area, click on that. And you'll see a list of all the galleries you've created. And since we only have one, the image gallery 1 is showing up, so click on that. And then if you click on Customize the Display Settings, you could override the thumbnail settings by clicking Yes and then specifying how big or small you wanted these thumbnails to be, but we're just going to leave that at the default setting for now and just say no. And right here, sort or exclude images, you could resort these images from this page as well, but we're just going to keep that in the order that they were uploaded, and I'm going to click on Save. And this is my gallery here. Now if I click on this, I can get back to these editing options. Just want to point that out, but we're not going to worry about that. And then I'm going to update the page. And now if we view our site, and then hover over Media and click on our image gallery page, you'll see that we have this really nice looking thumbnail image gallery. And when you click on these, it's going to open up this really nice looking light box, and you can scroll through and view all of the images that you've added, just like that. And of course you can go back, and to get out of that, just you can hit escape or hit this X there. And then this right here, show slideshow, you could click on that and it will show these images in a slideshow, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. And that's just a default setting, but it's very easy to get rid of. So we're just going to go back and go back to edit this page, and we're going to click on our gallery and go back to customize the display settings, and right here, show slideshow link, where it's checked yes by default, we're going to say no, and then we're going to click on save, and then we're going to update the page. Now if we view the page, you'll see that that show as slideshow is no longer showing up there. And one thing I do want to point out is you can have other text on that page or other images. You can create a normal page and just have that image gallery showing up in any given part of that page by clicking on the image gallery icon and inserting it where you would like to put it on that page. Just so you know that, but we'll just leave it like it is for now. And the next thing we're going to do is add our YouTube video to our video page. So to do that, we're going to go to YouTube, and I'm just going to search for Yellowstone National Park, and I'm going to grab this video here. So I'm going to click on the video to open up the YouTube video, and then I'm just going to click on that to pause it. And to embed a YouTube video onto your WordPress page, you're going to click on Share, and then click on Embed. And by default, it should have this HTML code selected for you, so go ahead and copy that code. And we're going to go back to our video page and then click on Edit Page to be taken to the video editing page. And we're going to switch to the text editor because we are going to be pasting in some HTML code, so go ahead and paste that in there. And then click on Update. Alright, and let's view the front end of our WordPress site. And then if we click on, hover over Media and click on our video page, you'll see that we have this YouTube video showing up just like that. So it's really that simple to add YouTube videos to your site there. Now we're going to get into some of the fun stuff when it comes to creating a website, where we create our logo and choose our color scheme and create our background. Now, one thing that's great about the Origami theme is that you have a white background, and then you have this really light gray for the navigation menu, and then that same light gray for the footer area. And that makes it really easy to find a compatible color scheme. Now you could come up with a color scheme on your own. A lot of people do that, but I like to use a website called colorlovers.com, and color is spelled C-O-L-O-U-R. So go ahead and go to colorlovers.com. And this website just basically has all kinds of color palettes that graphic designers and people that really know what they're doing have created, and you can use the same color palettes that they're using. And what I did here, since my website is a nature theme, I just searched for nature and took a little bit of time. I had to browse through. I think the one that I liked was on page 3. So you can just look through these. And the one I liked is this one called Marlin. So I'm going to click on Marlin to open up this. And I really like this bluish green here, and I really like this brown. So I'm going to use those two shades for my logo, and then I'm going to use a shade similar to this for my background, my textured background that we're going to create after we create our logo. Now, when we create our logo, we're going to need what's called a hex code for the colors that we want. And a hex code is basically a 6-digit combination of letters and numbers that corresponds to an exact shade of a color. And to get the hex code, you're going to have to scroll all the way down here at the bottom before the comment section. Right here, you'll see that there's a hex code for each one of these colors. So for the bluish green that I want, I would just copy that code there. And for the brown that I want, I'll copy that. So let's keep this page open so we can have access to those hex codes. And in another tab, I'm going to open up the online application we're going to use called iPiccy.com. That's IPICCY.com. And this is also a free online application that's great for making logos. So go ahead and click on Start Editing. And then you're going to click on, when you hover over this, it says Create a New Blend. Click on that icon. And you're going to need to specify the width and the height. Now, I would not recommend going any wider than 300 pixels wide because with a mobile responsive site, when our site is used on mobile devices, for example, you don't want your logo to be cut off. And if it's too wide, the rest of your site's going to be the right width, but your logo is still going to be too wide. So I wouldn't go any wider than 300 pixels wide, and we'll just do 150 pixels tall. And click on Create. Alright, and then the first thing we'll do is create our text. So click on this text icon, and you can click over here, hold and drag that into place, and then we're going to type in the first word, which is going to be natural. And I'm going to make this 60, make the size 60. And then I'm going to come down here, before I pick my color, I'm going to select the font that I want to use. I'm going to use a font called Daniel. And then to change the color, just click on this color. It should be a black box there. Click on that. And then we're going to grab the hex code for our bluish green shade. Copy that. Just double click on that to select it, then copy it. And come in here and paste that in there, just like that. Alright. And then you can, of course, click and hold and drag that into place as you want. We're just going to center it towards the top there. And now for our other word, since we want it to be a different font size and a different color, we're going to create another text layer by clicking on this text icon again. And just click, hold, and drag. Click, hold, and drag that under there for now. And this is going to be the word phenomena. And I want this to be 52 for the size. So I'm going to select that, type in 52, hit tab, or 52 and hit enter. Drag that over just so it's centered. And then I'm going to select the same font, the Daniel font here. There's lots of cool fonts that you can play around with iPiccy. Then I'm going to go back and grab the shade for the brown that I want to use. Double click to select that, copy it, and click on that, and just paste that in there. Alright, and now what I did to get out of that was just click anywhere in this area here. Now we can select these layers individually and move them around. I'm going to move that one up just a little bit. I think that looks, just click, hold, and drag that up. And just release it there. And I'm going to move natural just a little bit. Alright, and now we're going to crop this image and we're going to remove this white background. And first we're going to remove the white background by clicking on this eye icon next to background here. And now that's going to make this a transparent logo, which is great. Now we'll still of course have to save this as a transparent file, which will save it as a PNG file. But to do that, first let's go ahead and crop it. So we're going to say done. And we're going to crop the picture by choosing the crop tool here. And then we're going to come over here and just drag that over. And as long as all of your text is visible within the area that you're going to crop, you should be fine. So get that the way you want it. And it's okay if you have a little bit of space on the sides or above or beneath it. So when you get it the way you want it, go back and click apply. Alright, that looks pretty good. So now we're going to save this by clicking on this save icon here. And we don't want it to have any sort of background because we're going to use this in our header, which has a white background, and we're also going to use it in our footer that has a light gray background. So we want it to blend in with whatever background it's put on. So we're going to save it as a PNG and click on Save Photo. And I'm just going to save this as Origami logo. Alright, so now that that's saved to your hard drive, go back to your website and go back to the back end of your WordPress website. And you're going to go to Appearance and then go all the way down to Header and click on Header. And we're going to click on Browse, and you're going to find that logo that you've saved to your hard drive, find that file, and select it and click on Open. And then you're going to click on Upload. And you could crop it here. We don't want to. We've already done that, so we're going to click on Skip Cropping, Publish Image as Is. And then we're going to click on Save Changes. Alright, and now if we view the front end of our website, you'll now see that we have our logo showing up there. Alright, now that we've got our logo created, let's go ahead and create our background image. And for that, we're going to use a really amazing tool brought to you by SiteOrigin, which is the same company that designed the Origami theme. So we're going to go in a different tab. We're going to open up siteorigin.com. And we're going to scroll down to the bottom. And under Useful Tools, click on the Background Image Generator. And this tool is absolutely incredible. You have tons of different patterns provided by subtlepatterns.com. It's a great website. But with this tool, you can use those patterns and you can make them whatever color you want them to be. And we're going to grab this lighter tan color here. And we're going to start out with this hex code, so I'm going to copy that and go back to the background image generator and paste that in place here. So we'll start with that, and that'll take a second to load, and you'll see that it changes the color. And with the video quality, I'm not sure if you can see that, but if I increase the pattern intensity, let that load, you should be able to see now that there is a textured background there. And we're going to actually use a pattern. You have all these patterns you can play around with. I'm going to use one towards the bottom here. Text to res 2. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to add some noise to that. And I'm going to increase the intensity just a little bit more there. And when you increase the pattern intensity, it actually darkens the shade. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to lighten this up just a little bit. You can choose any color that you want here if you don't have the hex code. And you can darken and lighten here. Since that's already as light as it'll go, I'm going to go down a little bit. Try something like that. That looks pretty good. So once you get the pattern that you want, click on Download. Okay, and then one thing I do want to point out here, before we upload this image to our website, if I right click, I'm using Firefox, and depending on what browser you're using, you may or may not be able to do this, but if I right click here and click on View Background Image, that's Control and click if you're using a Mac, then click on View Background Image, it'll pull up the actual image that I just downloaded, and this is, as you can see at the top, this is a 500 pixel by 500 pixel square image. And this is the entire pattern, the entire background that we're going to be using. And all of these patterns are what's called repeatable patterns, and that means that they will repeat seamlessly this way horizontally and then also seamlessly vertically, and it'll look like one pattern. And they're designed that way, which is a really amazing feature because you don't have to have a really large background image, and you don't have to worry about some screens not showing part of your image or different things like that. So different screen sizes might affect it otherwise, but since we're using a repeatable pattern, this is going to work perfectly. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back to the back end of my WordPress website. And to upload that image, that pattern that we just downloaded, I'm going to go to Appearance, and I'm going to click on Background. And then we're going to scroll down, and it's actually already got a really subtle pattern in place there by default, but we're going to add the one we just downloaded. Scroll down and click on Browse next to Select Image. Then find that pattern on your hard drive, and then click on Open, and then select Upload. Alright, and then scroll down, and I just want to go over the display options. The position, set that to left, and then repeat. Like I was saying, we want it to repeat horizontally and vertically, so we're going to just select Tile so that it will repeat both ways. And then the attachment, you can choose Scroll or Fixed, and either one of these will work fine, but I happen to like the look of the fixed background image, so I'm going to select Fixed, and you can just experiment with either one of those, and then click on Save Changes. And then if we go back and view the front end of our WordPress website, you'll see that we now have this really nice looking background pattern. Alright, now let's talk about widgets and widget areas. And as I pointed out earlier, these here are widgets. And by default, WordPress is going to add these 6 widgets to your WordPress site. So you've got a search widget, a recent posts widget, which is going to show your latest blog posts, recent blog comments, and of course we're showing the sample blog post and the sample blog comments. And then we've got blog archives is a default widget that's added, blog categories, and then this site metadata. And you could use this to actually log out and log into your site, but we will just stick with our admin bar, and we're going to get rid of a lot of these and add our own widgets. But first of all, let's go back and take a look at our available widgets and discuss exactly what widgets are. So we'll go back to the back end of our WordPress site, and we're going to go to Appearance and click on Widgets. And these are our available widgets, and by default WordPress comes with many of these. Now different themes and different plugins will also add available widgets for you. So for example, we've added the Next Gen Gallery plugin, so we have these Next Gen widgets that are showing up now that we could use in our widget areas if we'd like to. And then also the Origami theme comes with these site origin widgets, which we'll be using some of these when we create our homepage. Now basically what widgets do is they allow you to add additional features and additional functionality to widget areas on your website. Now a widget area, as shown over here on the right, we've got the footer widget area. A widget area is basically part of your theme where you can drag and drop these widgets in place. Now most themes are going to come with at least one sidebar widget area. Now the Origami theme does not come with a sidebar widget area, it comes with one footer widget area. And the reason that they did this was because it comes with the Page Builder plugin that we're going to be using when we create our homepage. And what the Page Builder plugin will allow us to do is it will allow us to create widget areas anywhere that we would like to on any given page. So we could have a sidebar, we could have 2 sidebars, we could have 3 columns, we could have 4 columns, we could have as many rows and columns as we want, and all of those areas will be widget areas. So it's an amazing plugin that Site Origin developed. So for now, with the widget area that we have by default, the footer widget area, I'm just going to show you how we use these widgets. These you just click, hold, and drag, and if we wanted to remove all of these, and you can click down and some of these will have different options, and I'll let you experiment with different widgets to see what they do, but we're just going to remove all of these for now. And to do that, you're going to click, hold, and drag back in here and release, and that's going to remove the widget from our widget area. Now if we had a custom widget that we'd made some custom settings to that we wanted to keep, we could drag it in to our inactive widgets section, and that way, as you can read, it will keep their settings. But we're just going to remove all these because these are default widgets anyways, just like that. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to add the widgets that I want to have on my footer, and I'm going to do, let's see, categories to show my blog categories. Now I could give this a title, but I'm just gonna, well actually, let's call this blog categories. So instead of saying categories, it'll say blog categories, and as we, later in the video when we add our blog posts and add our blog categories, those new categories will appear there. Click save there, then click that arrow to minimize that. Then I'm gonna add the pages widget, and this is gonna show a list of all the pages on my site, and I don't need to fill out anything there. And basically this will allow people to navigate to the different pages on my site from the footer, so I'll have navigation in my main menu bar and then also in my footer. And then I'm going to add a search widget, and this basically will just allow people to easily search my website for different content. And then I want to add my logo, and I want to put that in the far right. And what I could do to do that is I could use a text widget, and I could drag that in, and then I could put, either write in or paste in the HTML code, but I'm going to actually download a plugin called Black Studio Tiny MCE, and basically what that's going to allow me to do is have a visual editor. Just like when we create our pages we have the visual editor, I'm going to have a visual editor that allows me to work with widgets. So to get that plugin, I'm going to go to plugins, add new, and I'm going to search for Black Studio Tiny MCE, and then this top one here, this is the one I want. I'm going to click on install now and click on OK, and then I'm going to activate the plugin. So now if we go back to appearance and click on widgets, you'll see that we have this Black Studio widget now showing up. So I'm going to remove this text widget, click holding and dragging and then releasing that over here, and then I'm going to replace that with a Black Studio widget. Alright, and now as you can see we have a visual editor, and I'm going to just click in here and add media, and I'm just going to grab the logo that I've already uploaded to my website right there and click on, first of all, we want this to be full size, and all the rest of the, well, we don't want this to link anywhere, so we're going to say link to none. Actually, let's link this to our home page. So we'll do a custom URL and just type in your domain name, http:// then your domain name, and in my case it's going to be nature.quickwebsitecreation.com. And then I'm going to click on Insert into Post, and then I'm going to click on Save. Alright, so that's saved. I can minimize that there. And basically what the way the Origami footer widget area is designed is however many widgets you have in your footer area, they're going to take up an equally proportionate amount of space. So we have 4 widgets, so they're going to take up 25% of the width of the footer. So we're going to go back and view the front end of our site now. And now we have our 4 widget areas there. And one thing I do want to point out, obviously our logo in our footer is quite a bit smaller than the logo in our header, and it's the same image file, but what the Origami theme by default, what it does is it actually resizes that for us so that it is taking up no more than 25% of the space allotted to it. Now if you're using a different theme that did not do that automatically, you would want to go back to your Black Studio widget Let's refresh that so that my Black Studio widget's showing up there. There we go. And then you would click on the image, pull up this icon, click on that icon, and then you could resize this image here by doing one of these options. Just a quick way to do that, and then you would want to update that, but we're not going to worry about that. And of course you could also resize your logo file in Pixlr if you needed to, and then save that as a PNG. Just some different options there. And then just to show you that that logo in the footer is linking to our home page, if we go to a different page, let's just go to our image gallery page. And if we clicked on our logo in our footer, it's going to take us back to the home page, just like that. Alright, now that you know about widgets and widget areas, we're going to set up our home page. And of course, as I've mentioned, Origami comes with the Page Builder plugin, and this is going to allow us to create custom layouts and custom widget areas wherever we want. And this is a really revolutionary type of functionality because you do have a lot of flexibility with your website layout, and you don't have to know any code to do it. So this is a really cool thing that we're going to be using. If you're using a different WordPress theme, you can always go to plugins, add new, and search for the Page Builder plugin, and it should work with whatever theme you're using. But let's just go ahead and we're going to go, and since we're already on our home page here, we can click on Edit Page, and this is going to take us back to the page editor for our home page. And we're going to switch to the Page Builder tab there, and then right here we need to update to the latest version of Page Builder. So we're going to click the update link, and then we're going to activate plugin. Alright, and now we've got the most latest version of the Page Builder plugin activated. Then let's go back to our home page, Pages, All Pages, and click on our home page. Okay, and then switch back over to the Page Builder tab. Alright, and by default, it already has our first row in, and if we wanted to delete this, we could just click on this minus symbol there. So if we're starting from scratch, we would add a row by clicking on this middle icon here with the 3 different columns. Click on that, and this is going to add a row, and here we can specify how many columns we want this row to contain. And I just want this first row to have only 1 column, and then I'm going to click on Add, and that's just what we had originally before we deleted that. Now the reason I'm doing my first row with only 1 column is because I want to have a slideshow on my home page that's at the top of the first row, and that I want to take up the full width of the page. And then beneath that I want to have a full width call to action section, and beneath that I want to have a full width section where we're going to have an image and text. Now I need to add another row beneath this one, so I'm going to click on this again, and this time I want this row to have 3 columns because I'm going to have 3 different sections with an icon, a text area, and a button that showcase the 3 different pages or 3 different areas of my site. So each one of these is a widget area, just like we had our footer widget area, and you can click on these to add widgets to them. Now to add a widget to one of these new widgetized areas, you would just click on the area you want to add the widget to, and that'll turn blue, and then you'll click on this add icon there, and then you have all these different widgets to choose from. And now that we've updated our Page Builder plugin, we have all these different, they say PB, all these different PB widgets that are available. Now the first thing we want to do though is add our slideshow, and to do that we're going to need to add another plugin to our site. So let's go ahead and exit out of this, and we're going to have to recreate this layout anyway since we haven't added any content to it yet. So let's just not worry about updating this page. We're going to go to Appearance, and then we're going to click on, or actually Plugins rather, click on Add New, and you're going to search for a plugin called Meta Slider. Click on Search Plugins, and click on Install Now under Meta Slider, and OK. And then click on Activate Plugin. Alright, and now we have this new Meta Slider icon here, this new tab here. So go ahead and click on this, and this is where we would create our first slideshow, but first we need to crop our images down for our slideshow. So I'm going to go and in a new tab, I'm going to open up Pixlr again, and I'm going to click on Pixlr Editor. And then I'm going to open the first image that I'm going to use for my first slide from my hard drive, and this is one that I got from Pixabay, and this is a full width 1280 pixel wide image. I've got it in my Slide Images HQ folder, and as you can see, it's 1280 pixels wide by 960 pixels tall. I'm going to click on Open, and I have found that the best width for a slide image on Pixlr, a full width slide image, is 902 pixels. And I'll show you later on how I came up with that and how you can figure that out on your own if you needed to. But and then also, just because I like the way it looks, I think 400 pixels is a pretty good height for this. So we're going to crop our 1280 pixel wide image down to a 902 pixel image, and to do that we're going to make sure the crop tool is selected. That's this far left tool. It should be selected by default. We're going to change the constraint to output size, and we want it to be 902 pixels wide, so change the width to 902, and then we are just going to want this to be 400 pixels tall. And then I want to view this a little bit. I want to zoom out a little bit so I can see the full image, so I'm going to zoom out to 60%. And I'm going to click, hold, and drag up here, and as long as it's in the gray area and you click, hold, and drag, it should start at the top corner. Then I'm going to drag this all the way over, and then I'm going to release, and this is going to give me a 902 by 400 area to work with, and I can drag that wherever I want it. I'm going to put it right there, and then I'm going to hit enter. And that's going to crop that down and resize it so that it's 902 by 400. And if I view this at 100%, this is the actual size of my first slide. So I'm going to go to File, Save, and I'm going to save this as Slide 1. I'm going to make it a JPEG, and quality of 80 is fine. I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to create a new folder here called Slide Images. Create, and then save that. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing to my other two slides. Okay, now that I've got all three of my slideshow images cropped down to 902 by 400 pixels, I'm going to add those to my slideshow. So I'm going to go back to my WordPress backend. And again, just to get here, I just went to MetaSlider Lite. And we're going to click on this plus symbol next to create your first slideshow. And then we're going to give it a name. We're going to click here where it says new slider, select that text and call it slideshow 1. Just hit tab. And then we're going to come down and click on this add slide button there. And we're going to upload files. So select that and then click on select files. And then find your cropped slide images on your hard drive. And then I'm going to click on that first one, hold down shift, click on that third one to select all of those, and then click open. And it's going to upload all three of those. And I'm not going to worry about these settings except that I'm going to make sure this is full size. And don't worry about these other settings. We're going to override those anyway. So click on add to slider. Alright, so now we have our three slide images. And to rearrange these, you could click, hold, and drag these in place and release them. But we're going to keep that in the same order that I had them originally. And then now you have the option to give your slides a caption. And I'm going to say view the blog. And then on this one I'm going to say view the video page. And on this one I'm going to say view the image gallery. Alright, and then if you want, you can have your slides actually link to another page on your site or anywhere on the internet. And this is optional, but we're going to add a link to each one of these pages, the blog page, the video page, and the image gallery page. So to do that, I'm going to open a new tab. I'm going to go to my website. And for the blog page, I'm going to click on blog. And then I'm just going to select this to get the URL, copy that, go back to my slider, and paste that in. And I'll do that for the video page and the image gallery page. Copy that and paste that in there. And I'll do the same for my image gallery. Copy the URL and paste that in there. Alright, and before we save this slide, I'm just going to change this to the Nivo slider. You can experiment with these different options here. They're just going to give you different looks. I just personally like the look of the Nivo slider. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to change the size to the exact same size that we chose for our slides, 902 width and 400 in height. And before I show you why I chose the 902 pixel width, I'm going to save this, and you can click on Save and Preview, and that'll pull up a preview of what your slideshow will look like when it's put on a page. You can see there transitions, and we can click here to change the different slides. We can also use the arrows, or it will do it automatically. So I'm just going to click out of there to exit. And I like the fade effect. I like the way the slideshow looks, but you can mess with those settings. And then also I like it's 3000 milliseconds is 3 seconds, so each slide will appear for 3 seconds. You can change these settings here. We're just going to leave them to the default. So now that we've got that saved, we're first going to add that to our home page. So let's go back to Pages and click on All Pages. Click on our home page. Welcome to Natural Phenomena. And we'll switch back to the page builder, and again we'll have to recreate our layout since we never added any content to it. And we'll start with our first row, and we're going to add a widget because now we're going to have a meta slider widget. And let's see, right here, meta slider. So click on meta slider, and then we just need to select the slideshow from this list here, and since it's the only one we've created, it should be the only one showing up there. So click on Done. And now we're going to update the page. Okay, and now we're going to view the page by clicking on this icon here in the top left. And you'll see we have our slideshow added to our website, to our home page, just like that. And you'll notice that it's got the captions for each one. And if I clicked on any of them, it's going to take me to the URL that we put in. So for this one, the image gallery, when I click on that, it's going to take me to the image gallery page. So very handy, and I can click here to get back to my home page. Alright, and now I want to show you why I knew that this needed to be 902 pixels wide. So we're going to go back to our back end and click on Meta Slider Lite. Alright, and it's going to pull up the slideshow by default since it is the only one we've created. And the way I knew this, if we change this width, let's do 890 pixels, just a little bit shorter. And then let's click Save, or a little bit smaller of a distance in width. And then we're going to view the site. Okay, you'll see that our footer ends here, but that leaves a little bit of distance for the slideshow. Over here it's flush with the footer, as you can see the edge there, right there. But it's just a few pixels shy, so it's basically trial and error, guess and check to go back. And I did that, and I eventually came up with 902 pixels being the perfect width. So when we save that, exit out of that, and then view our site again, you'll see that it will be flush with the edge of the footer, just like that. Alright, now we're going to go and add our call to action underneath our slideshow on our home page. So let's click on this Edit Page tab there to be taken to our page editor for the home page. And we're going to be using the same widget area, the same row. We're just going to add this call to action widget underneath our slider. So we're going to click on this Add Widget icon. And then I'm going to select the call to action widget. And notice I'm using the call to action page builder widget, not the site origin call to action. Just a preference there. You can experiment with either one, but I'm going to use the call to action page builder widget. And I'm going to click on that, and that's going to automatically add it under my meta slider since we had that widget area selected. And I'm going to give it a title, and I'm going to call this check out the video page. So I'm going to type that in there. And then my subtitle is going to be, you're going to learn how to embed YouTube videos onto your website. And then my button text is going to be check it out. And then my button URL, I'm going to go and open up my video page and copy the URL there. Go back and paste that in. And then I'm going to use the simple dark dashed style because I just like the way that looks and I want this to stand out, so it's going to have a dark background. Then my button, I'm going to use simple slate, and I just really like the color of that, so I'm going to click done. And just so you know, I could rearrange these by click holding and dragging and moving that above the meta slider if I wanted to, but I want it to be below it, so I'm going to keep it there, and then I'm going to click on update. And now when I view my website and scroll down, you'll see that I have this nice call to action area here, and it put that background in, and I chose the slate color for my button. And when I click on this, it's going to take me to my video page because that's the URL we put in place there. Now, one thing I want to point out about the call to action page builder widget, if your text is too long, unfortunately it will show up behind the button, so it won't look right if your text is longer than from the far end to the button. But as long as your text isn't too long, this is a really good way to draw attention to certain pages. Alright, now that we've got our call to action in place, we're going to add an image and a text area underneath it. So let's go back to our page editor for the home page by clicking this edit page button. And the way we're going to add this image and text is we're going to use the Black Studio widget again, and we'll just go, and since it's going to be on the same row and we want it to be full width, we're just going to click on this add widget icon. And then we're going to click on Black Studio Tiny MCE, and this is going to pull up the visual editor. Now first we need to resize our image in Pixlr, so I'm just going to go back to the Pixlr tab and open up my high quality full-sized image that I'm going to use, and it's going to be this picture right here. This is 1280 pixels wide. I'm going to resize this down. I'm not going to crop it since I want it to have the same ratio of width and height. So I'm just going to change, or I'm not even going to worry about the crop tool. I'm just going to go to image size, and keep that constrained proportions box checked, and change the width to 250 pixels, and that's going to automatically adjust the height. I'm going to say OK. Then I'm going to go to File, Save that as homepage image, click on OK, and I'm going to save that in this folder. Alright, I'm going to go back to my WordPress site, and the title that I'm going to give this is Welcome to this mock site. And then I'm going to add my image first by clicking Add Media. Then I'm going to upload the file that I just resized. Click on Select Files. Find the image on your hard drive. Click on Open. You'll see this is the 250 pixel wide image that I just resized. Click on Open. And then you can fill out your title, alt, and descriptive text. I'm going to align this image to the left. I don't want it to link to anything, so I'm going to change that to link to none. And I do want it to be the full size 250 pixel wide image. And I'm going to say insert into page. And then I can put text here. I'm just going to copy this text that I've got and paste that in, just like that. And then I want this Pixabay text. I'm going to double click that to select that word, and I'm going to make that a link. And I'm just going to type in http://www.pixabay.com, and I'll just give it a title, say Pixabay, and click on Add Link. And then I'm just going to click on Done, and then I'm going to update the page. Alright, and now if I view the front end of my WordPress website and scroll down, underneath my call to action we have this full width image with our title and our text, and when I click on Pixabay, it's going to take me to the Pixabay website. Alright, and now the last thing we're going to do with our homepage is add our 3 different areas that are going to showcase some of the sections of our website. So let's go back to our page editor. And the first thing I need to do is add a new row, and I'm going to make the row with 3 columns. So I'm going to click on Add Row here, and I'm going to type in 3, and then I'm going to click on Add. And that's going to give me 3 different widget areas on that same row. And I want to point out here, by default, they're all spaced equally. They're all taking up 1/3 of the space. Now I could click and hold and drag over just like that to resize these. And I can do that with any of the different rows, or I mean any of the different columns. But we're just going to leave that. I'm just going to make that, well, the easiest way to do this would just be to delete it and add it again so that it's equal again. Click on Add. And before I get started here, I want to go ahead and get the 3 icons that I'm going to use for these 3 sections. And to do that, I'm going to go back in a new tab and go back to Pixabay. And since I'm going to have a contact form section, an image gallery section, and a blog section, the way I search for these icons, for the contact form, I searched for email icon. And I got this one here that I'm going to use. And then for the image gallery, I searched for photo icon and got this one here that I'm going to use. And then for the blog section, I searched for reading icon and got this one here. And fortunately, these are all designed by the same person on Pixabay, so they're really coherent with each other. And the way I downloaded all of these, I'm just going to click on it, and just like we did with our images originally, you would just click, and I'm going to use the smallest file available, and this is a square image, 150 by 150 pixels. And the reason I'm choosing the smallest in this case is because I'm actually going to make these quite a bit smaller than that even with Pixlr. And of course you do want the PNG because you want these corners to be transparent so they'll blend in with your site, whatever background color it is. So I just downloaded all 3 of those, and I'm going to do that real quick before I go into Pixlr, so I'll be right back. Alright, now that I've got those 3 icons downloaded at 150 by 150 pixels and they are PNG files, I'm going to go back to Pixlr and I'm going to open these up and resize them. And to do that, of course, just go to Image, Image Size, and I'm going to change this to 50. So it'll be 50 by 50 now, and click OK. And then I'm going to save that as contact icon. Okay, and I do want it to be the PNG as you see there. It'll take on that file type by default since it was originally a PNG file. Then I'm going to make a new folder, icons, and save that there. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other 2 icons. Okay, now that my icons are all resized at 50 by 50 pixels, I'm going to go back to the back end of my WordPress site, and I'm going to update this page just to make sure that it's updated. Because before I add my icon and text widgets in place here in these widget areas, I need to add the icons to my media library. So to do that, I'm going to go to Media, and I'm going to click on Add New. Now, basically, we've been adding our images using the visual editor, and that has actually been adding them to our media library. That's just one way to do it. This is another way to do it. If you're not adding the images with a visual editor, you can do it this way. So go to the Media, Add New, and click on Select Files. And I'm going to open up my icons folder, and these are the 50 by 50 icons. I'm going to select all of those icons, and click on Open. Okay, so now those are uploaded to my media library. I'm going to go back to Pages, All Pages. Open up the home page. And then I'm going to click on this widget area here, and that's going to turn that a darker blue. And then I'm going to click on Add Widget. And I am going to be using a site origin icon and text right here, site origin icon and text. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to give it a headline, and it's just going to be Contact Us. And then the text, I'll just paste this in here. And then for the URL, I need to open up my site and open up my contact page. Copy and paste that URL in place. Select that, copy it, go back, paste that in there. And then the icon, since I have already added this to my media library, I can click here and I can choose the media library file that I want, and that's going to be the contact icon. And then I can just click Done and update the page. Alright, and now if we view our site, you'll see that we have this icon with our title and our text area. Now actually a couple of things I want to point out here. The icon is too close to the text, or rather the text is too close to the icon, and that will do that by default. Now I've got a little trick using some HTML code that will allow us to have some space in there. And then also another thing I want to point out is that we don't have our button yet, and that's because the icon and text widget doesn't have a button, so we're going to need to add that. So let's go back to our page editor for the home page. And first of all, let's hover over this widget and click on Edit. And right here next to Contact on the far left, the HTML code for a space is the and symbol, and then NBSP semicolon. Okay, so we're going to say Done, and then update that. And then if we go back to the front end of our site and scroll down, you'll see that we have one space. Now I'm going to add 2 more spaces so that it's flush with my paragraph there. And we will just copy and paste that code in there 2 more times. Hover over that, click on Edit. And I'm just going to select that code and paste it in there. So we have it in there 3 times in total. And I'm going to say Done. And then I'm going to add another widget in the same widget area. Click on Add. And I'm going to add a page builder button right here, button PB. Click on that. And the text that I want this to be is just Contact Us. And I'm going to go back and grab this URL again. And by the way, you did not have to put that in when we put it in for the icon and text widget, since it didn't do anything. You wouldn't have to do that. I just wanted to demonstrate. So put that in there, and then we're going to align the button to the right of our widget area. And I'm going to use that same simple slate color for the button color that we used earlier. And I'm going to say Done. And then I'm going to update the page. And now when I view the front end of my website, you'll see that my spacing looks really good, and now we have a button that links to our contact page, and when we click on that, it takes us straight to it. So let's go back, click on the edit page icon to be taken to our home page editor, and we're going to duplicate these, since we're going to use the same widgets in this section and then we'll just change the content of them. We can click on this duplicate, and then that'll duplicate it, and then click on duplicate for the button, and then we're just going to drag these over here drag that button over here and just let go, and then we'll click, hold, and drag to rearrange that. And then we'll duplicate this one, drag that over there, and then duplicate the button again, drag that over here, and then rearrange those. And for this one, I'm going to just hover over it and click on Edit, and I'm going to change Contact Us to Image Gallery. And I'm going to select that, delete it, and I'm going to choose this text, copy that, and paste that in here. And then I'm going to just remove this URL completely since we don't need that. And then I'm going to select my image gallery icon right there, and then click on Done. And then for the button, I need to go and grab the URL from my image gallery. So I'm going to go to Media, Image Gallery, just copy this here, hover over button, click on Edit, and the button text is going to be View the Image Gallery. And then I'm going to delete this and paste in the other URL, and I want it to align right, and I want it to be simple slate. I don't want it to open in a new window. I don't know why that's checked there, so I'm going to say Done. Then I'm going to make sure this one is not opening in a new window. Okay, that's good. Alright, and now let's work with our final area here. Click on Edit, and this one's going to say Read the blog. I'm going to change this text, paste that in there, just remove this URL, and then select my blog icon, click on Done, and then I'm going to edit the button and say Read the blog. And then I'm going to go and get my blog URL, copy that, paste that in place, uncheck this box, and click on Done. And now when I update the page, assuming we did everything correctly, when I view the home page, all of my sections should be showing up. Scroll down, and there you go. Just like that. It's perfect. And one thing I do want to point out is if you have quite a bit more text in one section than you do in another, and it takes up more lines, it will push this button down. So I just kind of typed in just the right amount of text to get these to all have the same amount of lines so that these buttons were lining up evenly. But in my opinion, even if they don't align perfectly evenly because you've got more text in one of your sections than another, I think it still looks good. Alright, now we're going to go over our blog settings. So let's go ahead and go back to the back end of our WordPress site. And go to Settings and Reading. Alright, now we've already made some adjustments with this page, but now I want to explain exactly what we did and why we did it. First of all, front page displays, by default it was set to your latest posts, which means that by default the homepage of your website would display your latest blog posts. Now we changed that to display a static page, and basically what a static page is it's just a normal page. All of the pages that we've created so far are considered static pages. So we told WordPress that we wanted our homepage, in other words our front page, to display a static page, and then we selected that static page as our Welcome to Natural Phenomena page because that's the one we wanted to be our front page. And then, since we no longer had our front page displaying our latest posts, we had the option to select which page we wanted to be our posts page. And the posts page is synonymous with our blog page, and we chose for our blog to be our posts page, our page that we created called blog. Now, I know that's kind of tricky, but here in a moment when we create some blog posts, I think you'll understand a little better. As of now, when we go to our blog page, let's just open up our front page. And when we click on this blog menu item, we have the sample blog post that's showing up. And this is the excerpt from the post. If we click on it, we'll actually open up the actual blog post page where you have the sample comment and where you have the option for your users to post their comments. Now, we've already gone over the comment options, and I'll just give you a refresher on how to allow comments or disallow comments. But first, let's remove this sample post and create our own blog posts. And we'll go back to the back end of our WordPress site. And instead of going to pages, now we're going to go to posts, and then we're going to click on all posts, and that's only going to show the only post we have, which is the sample post. We're going to hover over that and click on trash, just like we did to delete our sample page. Alright, and now we're going to add our new blog post by going to posts, add new, and we are going to call this blog post 1. I'm just going to copy this text in. Might as well switch to the visual editor, call this blog post 1, and I'm going to paste in that text there. And this visual editor works the exact same way for blog posts as it did when we were using it to create our pages. You can add images the same way. Everything works the exact same way. You can even use the page builder. And then we need to give our blog post a category. So to do that, we're going to click on add new category, and we're going to call this sunset. And I'm going to click on add new category. Now, if I had multiple blog posts that I wanted to put in the same category, all of the categories that you create will appear for every blog post, and you can check or uncheck as many as you'd like. So we're going to just keep that at sunset for now. And the reason I'm calling it sunset is because I'm going to choose my featured image. I'm going to go down and click on set featured image. And then I'm going to upload a file. And I'm going to go to select files. And this is one of the original high quality images that I downloaded. And I've got it in this folder, blog post images HQ. And I'm going to click on this one here. And this is my sunset picture. And as you can see, it's the 1280 pixel wide image. I'm going to click on open. And that'll upload, and then you could fill in your information there if you'd like to, and then click on set featured image. Okay, and then now when we publish the page and go back to our blog page and refresh it, this is going to be replaced with our first blog post. And you'll see the featured images showing up there, and you have our text, and you have the category right here is sunset. And then now, since we don't have a blog post in the uncategorized category anymore, since we deleted the sample post, we now have the sunset category showing up there. And if I had multiple blogs within that category, I could click on this category here, and it would show a list of all the blog posts that fit that category. And one thing I want to point out about the featured image is that Origami automatically resizes your image if it's too large, which in our case we were using the high quality 1280 pixel wide image, and we know that since our slideshow images are taking up the full width and are only 902 pixels wide, we know that our max width is 902 pixels. So Origami will resize that larger image and make it fill up the full width that it could possibly fill, just like you see here. Now, if you were using an image that was smaller than the 902 pixels maximum size, then it would show up at that whatever size that image was. So it would show up smaller and it wouldn't take up the full width. Now let's go back and add our second blog post. Let's go back to the back end of our WordPress site. Go to posts, add new, click on that. And we're just going to call this blog post 2. And then I've got some text here that we'll copy in, just like that. Paste it in there. And then let's we're going to create a new category for this one, and this one's going to be winter storm. And I'm going to click on add category, and that automatically checks that box there. Then I'm going to upload my featured image by clicking set featured image. I'm going to upload file, click on select files, and I'm going to use the winter image here, and this is also a full-sized image. Click on open. And then fill out your information here. Click on set featured image. Alright, before we publish this, I'm going to allow comments on this particular post. And to do that, just again, screen options. To drop down all these options, click on discussion. That's going to pull up this discussion box. Then we can click screen options again to minimize that. And then I'm going to select allow comments. And now when I publish the page, I can view my website. And I can go to my blog. And you'll see that we have our blog post 2 featured image and our title and our excerpt showing up above blog post 1 because blog post 2 was the most recent blog post. And then at the bottom we now have both of our blog categories because those will be automatically added to our categories widget. Alright, and then to access, if you remember, we enabled discussion on this blog post 2, so to get to that you would click on the title and that's going to pull up the full post. It's showing that full amount of text in the blog page where we've got an excerpt from both of our blog posts as it is on the actual blog post page where we are now. But if you had a lot of text, then all of that text would show up here and you would have an excerpt that would be a little bit less text showing up on the main blog page. But anyway, and then here is the comment field since we had that enabled. Now I'm going to log out and show you what your comment field will look like to your users that don't have a login information. Now that I'm logged out, I can scroll down. There'll be a spot for your name, email, website, and then of course your comment. Now when a user first posts a comment, it actually won't show up. It won't show up because, and this is to prevent spam, and there's a WordPress setting. I'm going to go log in to my WordPress site again by going to my domain /wp-admin. Alright, and if we go to settings and then discussion, by default WordPress has, let's see, this requirement checked right here. Comment author must have a previously approved comment. And the reason they do that is to prevent spam because you'll get all kinds of spam comments if you don't manage them. So when a new user posts a comment, that will appear right here in this section. It'll have a numeral there that indicates how many comments you have. And then from this you could approve the comment, and once you approve the comment from that user will be able to post comments again. And that's just a great feature that I definitely recommend keeping as your default. Alright, well that wraps that up. If you liked the video, please remember to show your support by subscribing to my channel, liking the video on YouTube, favoriting the video on YouTube, and sharing the video on YouTube with other people that may be interested in building a website. I really, really appreciate that, and I will see you next time.